Hey guys, this is Little Gamer Al and welcome to my channel and to another kind of like house showcase. I was going to do a speed build. I feel like I'm constantly explaining why I'm not doing a speed build. But it's just, I'm already in hour 6 of this build and that is just like, oh my god, that is just like so much footage, and so I just opted not to continue with that because it's just I've still got Lord knows how many hours left to go. I am in the process right now of trying to reposition everything, which means I have to move all of the landscaping over because the house was like over here, like it was like I just moved it over. And so all this space, like where all of these were at, like all this was where all the porch is. So I've moved it over that much because the pictures that I'm showing or that I'm using to kind of like model this house after, the garden, the gray garden, was over here on this side of the house, because I did have it over here, but I was like, well, no, I want to try to keep it as true to it as possible. So now I'm in the process of having to, like I said already, shift all of this landscaping over to with the house, like all of this stuff. So yeah, that's going to take me a minute to try to replicate it exactly how I had it so that I can include the gray garden, because you know you can't have gray gardens without the gray garden, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's obviously not going to be the same size or whatever as the original, obviously. I just don't have enough room for that, but I definitely wanted to include a small walled garden because that is exactly why the house was named Grey Gardens, was after that garden. So it'd be kind of stupid, like I've already said, to not include it, even in a small way. Okay guys, I am finally finished. It has been probably like 8 or 9 hours since I left you guys off in the last little clip. Yeah, it's been an entire day has gone by, but I'm finally done and I'm so happy and proud of this build. It was something that's so special to me. I learned about the Bouviers, Big and Little Edie, back in the early 2000s. A friend had told me about them and sent me little clips of the documentary, which I immediately scoured the internet and found a little box set that had the documentary along with extra behind the scenes footage and, you know, a whole bunch of bonus feature footage of the the Bouviers. And yeah, it was just like I fell in love with them. It was such a tragic story, a great case study in psychology and codependency and all kinds of things, but it's also fascinating, you know. They were just fascinating women in general, you know. Big Edie, she was very independent, strong-willed woman who loved to sing and dance, but in that era and in that high society kind of lifestyle, I guess you could say, it was just frowned upon for you to behave like that. So she had to kind of like, you know, kind of hold her personality in and kind of sacrifice who she was and what she wanted to do with her life, you know, to fit this image that high society demanded of her. And, you know, and this is a life that it was generational for her. You know, her mother and her grandmother and her great-grandmother, it's like they've all lived in this high society kind of world. And to see that her fall from, I don't want to say fall from grace, but, you know, as a figure of speech, fall from grace, it was just, you know, it was it's tragic to watch it unfold, you know, when you watch it. Because, you know, Drew Barrymore also did a movie, you know, a few years back, with Grey Gardens, and she did an amazing job. I was really, really impressed by her and Jessica Lange. They just did wonderful. But it was just like, I don't know, I won't go on and on and on about it. I'll let you go look them up if you're interested in the whole story. But this was just a special build for me because, like I said, I've watched their documentaries and I just think they're fascinating, and the whole story is just really, you know, like I said, tragic and just, yeah. Anyways, I'll just shut up about it. This is the front of the house, and I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. It had all the vines, and that was something that Big Edie really loved, was flowers and horticulture and all that. And she imported plants and flowers from all across the world onto this property back before her fall from grace. And so, yeah, this again is a lot of how it looks today, with the mix of how it looked back in the back in the olden days, if you will. And I will go ahead and do an aerial view of this house so you can kind of see what it looks like, because I will have probably showed you, or will show you a picture comparing it. And this is kind of, you can see the similarities and where I was going with the lay of the land. The backyard with the pool, and again, she loved landscaping and all of that stuff. And I didn't do as much as the original, the actual house, because our Sims have to have have to be able to walk without obstruction. So yeah, but I did enough just to kind of get the overall idea. And here is the namesake, or my version of the namesake. This is the Grey Garden, and yeah, it's obviously a lot smaller and stuff like that, but I had to include it. And of course, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I had to completely rearrange everything to accommodate it, to put it in the this area that it is supposed to be. And there is the sunroom right there. And okay, we will go ahead and go in and start taking a tour of the house. And here is the big entrance into the living room. And of course, I was so excited when I seen that I had this huge portrait of this lady, because of course, as you've seen in the pictures, or will see, Edie had a huge self-portrait of herself above the fireplace, and this is just like perfection. It just turned out perfectly. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a replica of the living room. And of course, Big Edie's piano, and of course she loved to sing, like I said, and so this was her escape, her place where she could truly be herself. And she even said that in the documentary. This is her home, even when everybody's like, why are you still here? It's literally falling apart around you. And she's like, this is the only place I could ever truly be myself. And so I just loved her so much. So this was her piano, and it's pretty much in the exact spot as it was in the house. And I just think everything turned out absolutely so beautiful. Again, this right here is custom content. I will be sure to include that for you, because I think this piece of furniture is absolutely gorgeous, and it really does fit the elegance and opulence, that's the word, of the house. I really think so. I really, really do. And of course, we live in modern times, and so I had to include a television. And so the only way I could, and I hope that you all think it looks good. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I have it separated from the main elegant part of the room, and have a more casual seating area, which actually the room did have, except I don't think it ever had a TV in it that I'm aware of. But I had to put one in because our Sims like to watch TV, so I had to figure a way to make it work, and I think this works out pretty good. Hopefully you will agree with me as well. And then here is the sunroom that we saw from the outside just a minute ago. And I think if this was a real house and I lived here, this would be where I would come to read, because you got all this beautiful natural light and all of this plants and and stuff like that, and you have a beautiful view of the pool out back there, and of course of the cityscape in the background. And then you have a picture of the wall of the Grey Gardens right there. And I just think this is beautiful. And we will come up for an aerial view so you can see it from this vantage point. And I will do that for the living room as well, so you can kind of see an overall view of the room. And I think it turned out absolutely beautiful, and I was so glad that we had this shade of purple wall, because it's very close to what she actually had in the original house. So yeah. And we will go back through the foyer, which is pretty close to how it was, like the color blue and stuff like that. And there's a couple of remodels of this house by the current owners, and this was one phase of the remodel. They had like a little seating area out here at one point, and they've had a table out here. So if you do happen to go look up Grey Gardens, you'll see a few variations of this foyer, and I just chose the color scheme of the original, how it was originally, and they kind of took one of the current remodels. So yeah. And then we go through here and into the dining room, and it's a little wider than the original, but again, I had to make it work. You know, I had to take, again, the liberty of, you know, kind of changing it up, and so there. And I always did love this in the movie by Drew Barrymore, because you could actually see how it was in its heyday, and so I really liked that whole look of having that kind of like a seating area with the big tables on both sides of it. I don't know, I just thought it looked really pretty and elegant. And of course, this was a pretty big place of entertaining, because back in the heyday of the Edies and Grey Gardens, she hosted all kinds of parties, dinner parties and stuff like that, and that's what this house was basically designed for, like most houses in the Hamptons. So yeah, I think this is just very elegant and classy and just absolutely beautiful. And this isn't exactly how it looked. I'd seen some picture of it during one of the remodels that was similar in color, so I kind of went with that, just because I felt like it matched better with the furniture and stuff like that. And the kitchen, I wanted to stay more true to how it probably would have been back. That's why I put in like a little desk and stuff like that, and like benches and stuff for our Sims to eat at. But overall, look, the color in one of the older pictures, the original pictures, it was a blue. And so I kind of went with that color scheme and just made it a functioning kitchen for your Sims. And the outside of the house, there's this extra, like, bit of the house sticks out, and I really could never find pictures of really that really was a clear shot of what this space was for. So I kind of just threw in some things like foodie looking items, a milk jug thing, and just kind of made it into a storage. If you do and put this house in your game, you can obviously do whatever the heck you want to with that room, make it a bathroom or something, whatever. But that's just kind of, I just kind of threw that stuff in there for the time being. But I really do love this kitchen. There is it's like I said, functional, but it's also got, it's just bright, and I don't know, I really do like this kitchen a lot. I think it turned out pretty well, considering I didn't have really much to go on. The original pictures, it was like all really jacked up. So other than you could see that there was a blue going on in there. There was a blue color theme going on in there. So I did that, and then I just made it my own on this one. So yeah, I'll shut up and move on. Another liberty I had to take in with the floor plan was because, like I said, this house was it was a mansion. It was massive. It had 28 rooms, and I can't do all of that. So I had to kind of change it up a lot here, because there's like 3 or 4 rooms that were in this general area, and so I got rid of all of them, but kept the bathroom because our Sims need to pee. And so yeah, I kind of went with that. Again, I didn't have a picture of the bathroom. I had no idea, so I just used my own imagination on that. And yeah, and there it is. Go upstairs, and again, I had to kind of change up the stairs and I tried like heck to manipulate these things to work for me, but they would not, because in the original house, as you have seen or will see, the stairs kind of come up halfway, and then they reach kind of like a landing, and then they turn sideways and run this way, and then you come out on this side. I couldn't do that, so this is very close to how it actually looked, except it's twisted and turned a different direction. So I'm really pleased with that. It took me a minute to kind of get it to work the way I wanted it to. And I think it worked out pretty good. You got a gorgeous view of the foyer from up here, and I think that's perfect. And of course I decorated with greenery and, you know, these rugs, and put a lot of the family photos up here. Anyways, so we have all of this. I'm just kind of decorating, you know. I think it looks pretty good. And I was so pleased to see that they had like striped wallpaper, because that's what they have up in this space in the real house. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the master bedroom, I had no idea what it looked like back then when Edie, you know, first moved here. So again, I took my own little twist and color scheme and just kind of went with it with my own little flair. I really wanted to use this green because I love this green. To me, it just looks very rich and just very elegant, and just I just absolutely love it. You know, if I ever need a pop of color, I tend to go towards green instead of red, like in my real life, just because it's different, and I'm just drawn to this color. I just think it's gorgeous. And again, I had to struggle with the fit in a bathroom because this is a huge house. We need bathrooms. We need more than one. And this is the master bedroom, so we needed a master bath. And so I'm still kind of iffy on it, but I feel like it does work well enough. And I will just leave that there. And I just want to kind of go down to kind of get a personal view of the room from this angle. I don't know, I always love to do this. Do you like to do this when you build a house, or when you get a house or whatever? Do you kind of like get down on the floor so you can see what it's like to kind of live or be in it? I don't know, maybe I'm weird. I do that all the time though, because you're gonna get a real good feel of what it would be like to actually be in this house. I don't know, maybe I'm a weirdo. Just kind of look over the railing. Hello. Okay, anyways, now this room is called the pink room, like in the real house. This was called the pink room, and so that's obviously where I went with it. And this is where we first run into custom content. I do apologize for that, but it will be in the description box for you to install in your game if you so choose to. I tried to decorate this room without this custom content, but this decoration, it just fit too perfect for this room, so I had to kind of break down and use it. So be warned. Let's go into the pink room. Bam! And it is definitely pink. We'll go up in the aerial view just because. And most everything in here, like 80+% of the stuff is custom content. This big thing here is custom content, and a lot of the little decorations, like these little pinwheels and this little spaceship thing and this little paper stand and these airplanes, all this kind of like pastel-y colored stuff is custom content. It's called Paper Dreams, and again, I will definitely be leaving that in the description box because this stuff is a must-have. It's just, the person who made this did an absolutely fantastic job, and I couldn't resist using it. So yeah, and this table right here is a part of that Paper Dreams, and the bed and all of this stuff, and it's just perfect room. And of course, obviously I made it into a little girl's room because it fits so well, pink. And so yeah, and this was just absolutely gorgeous. It just looks so like, oh my gosh, it just is like all 110% girl in my opinion, and I just absolutely adore this room. And obviously this looks nothing like the original room. I just took the color pink that it was in the original house, and I just went with it. So there we have it. Again, it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's got a great view out the window from here. Like, honestly, look at the view. Again, I'm such a weirdo, I can't help but do this. You can see the pool from here and the river, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And we will leave the room and kind of go down the hallway. And see, I never saw the boys' room because Big Edie did have two sons, and so, but we never did see their rooms. It was never mentioned or talked about. So I just knew it was a boys' room, and so I just kind of kept with this kind of color theme that they had going with naming the rooms, and I named this one the blue room. And I put two twin beds in here and kind of two of everything, because there wasn't much room for a lot of these things in these other rooms because they were so specific in the pictures and stuff like that. And so yeah, but it's all boy. You got your little sports stuff down here and shirts and fish and just stuff like that. So no, I really like it though. I think it's just, and I was trying not to make everything exactly matchy because there's going to be two different people sleeping here with their own personality. So in my half attempt, I tried to by giving them two different round rugs. So yeah. But yeah, this was one of the last rooms I did, and I was kind of getting really exhausted and tired at this point, and my imagination was starting to drain pretty quickly. But I think this works out perfectly because you don't want to go too much because back, in these kinds of houses, everything was kind of formal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that. Anyways, I'm going to shut up. We're going to go on to the next bathroom in this house. Again, this was not the lay of the floor plan. The bedrooms locations are the way the original floor plan is, but the bathrooms and stuff are not. Again, I went with the colors of like what I would think Edie would want, and this is kind of like a spa green kind of a color. And yeah, we have like the sink here, and I don't know where that thing went to. Okay, it kind of disappeared. And then we have the toilet and the tub in here. And so yeah, that's basically the bathroom. And then the last room is the yellow room, and this is the room that the Edies eventually ended up basically living in real life. And it was yellow. It was a really yellow room. But in my house, it's more of the Peacock room, and this is our second set of custom content. It's all this Peacock stuff, and I just thought I tried again really hard to decorate this house or this room without any custom content. But when I was going through the curtains and I seen that they had kind of like a peacock in that movie Hangout curtain stuff, I was like, oh, just let me see what it looks like. So I decorated it with the peacock stuff, and I was like, you know what? I have to use it in this house. It's just too perfect. It gives us that beautiful teal green color, and it just gives us, that beautiful contrast with all the yellow walls and stuff like that. So I kept it. It will be in the description box though. It is a set, so you don't have to go and download each one of these pieces separately. It's all together. The pictures are really awesome because these are all just like the different colors. Each color is a different picture. It's that one, that one, that one, and then there's a fourth one that is just the big giant peacock feather. It's like that right there. So it's really pretty. And it has all this really beautiful stuff. And I absolutely love this room. It is so bright. And again, you have these views from these windows that is just freaking amazing and gorgeous. And there's our other TV up here in this room, just because there was just not enough modern technology stuff in this house, because the original, it just didn't, that stuff just didn't exist back then. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really love this. I think this and the pink room and the living room are my three favorite spaces in this house. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But anyways, and then we come back over here, and here's like the back porch. And yeah, we'll kind of like just kind of do a little twirl around here in the backyard space. We got the grill, and you can see into the living room from here. I just love this house. Like I said, I spent 2 days on it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. Give me a thumbs up. Let's go ahead and hold on a second. Let me put the roof back on and get one last look at this house. And yeah, but if you like this house, give me a thumbs up, and it will be on the gallery for you to add to your game. You can either look up hashtag Little Gamer Owl, or my origin ID is ChannelHMC. So you can also add me on, as your friend on Origin if you would like. I do have a few things that I have in my library that you might be interested in. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I don't know when. I'll probably add the pictures at the end. After this, I'll probably kind of do a comparing, so you can kind of see what I was looking at, what my reference was, and so yeah. But anyways, thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Bye.